Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be showing you a tutorial on this eye look using the Anastasia Sultry palette, and I'm also going to be telling you my final thoughts at the end as well as inserting swatches for you guys. So if you want to see how I got this look, hear my final thoughts, and see swatches, then just keep watching. Alright, so today we're going to be going in with the Anastasia Sultry palette. This is my newest Anastasia palette. I've played with it a few times, so this is not a first impressions. I'm so far enjoying this palette, but at the end I'm going to go over all my thoughts about the palette. So first I'm going to start by priming my eyes, and I'm using the Lorac primer. This is one that I'm trying to get through. Honestly, after I've been forcing myself to use it more, I really don't like it. It's super tacky. It takes a lot to even get it to not have that tacky feeling, and I guess maybe in some cases that tackiness is a good thing, but I just do not like it, and I wouldn't repurchase it. Honestly, I didn't even purchase it on its own to begin with. I got it with the palette, so this is definitely not going to be a repurchase. Alright, so I primed the eyes. Now I'm going to set it. I'm just going to take my Real Techniques brush and I'm going to take the shade Fresh from the palette. And I'm just going to set my entire lid area. Alright, so now I'm just going to take a fluffy crease brush. This is the JH30 from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. And I'm going to start in the crease with the shade Twig. I'm just going to buff that all into the crease. Okay, so now that we've got that, I'm going to take another crease brush, but a slightly smaller one, I'm going to use this one, which is from MAC. It is the 224, and I'm just going to take a little bit of Dystopian, and I'm going to work this on the outer part of the eye as well as into the crease. And I'm also going to take a little bit of that on the inner corner because I'm going to be doing a halo eye with some of the shimmers in here. I know it looks a little bit crazy right now, but don't worry because I'm going to clean up the edges with the new technique I've been enjoying at the end. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a flat shader brush. So this is the Sigma E55, and I want to use two different shimmers to do a bit of a halo eye. So I'm thinking on the outer corner and inner corner I'm going to use Ember. And then right in the center, I'm going to use this gold shade Steampunk. I think the two will complement each other very nicely. And I'm going to start by using a brush, but I have a feeling I'm going to end up using my finger because that's a lot of times how I prefer to apply shimmer shades. But let's give it a go with the brush first. Okay, so as you can see, it's not super pigmented. It's not that it's not pigmented, it's just not showing up super shimmery right now as it is. But I think what I'm going to do at the end is take some Fix Plus and go over everything, and I think that should definitely make it more, make it pop more. So I'm going to take a different flat shader brush, and this is the MAC 239, and now I'm going in with Steampunk and putting that right in the center. obviously it's not blended yet, but as you can see, Steampunk definitely is showing up a little bit more, you know, a little bit more bam than the other one. But now I'm just going to work on blending these two. Okay, so I've blended this, you know, as much as I think I need to. I am going to go in with that MAC 224 brush again, and I'm just going to take the tiniest amount of twig, which was our first crease shade, and just kind of blend the crease a little bit. Okay, and I do want to show you guys that I'm not even really tapping in that hard because I'm pretty easy on my palettes, but the matte shades are showing some kick up. This doesn't really bother me personally that much, but I know for some people it does, so I just want to mention that. So now what I want to do, like I was mentioning, is I'm going to take some MAC Fix Plus and spray my brush and then go back in with these shimmer shades to try to intensify them. I still don't think that did exactly what I want it to, but I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm now doing the same thing with Steampunk. Alright, so it's definitely not like a perfect halo eye, but I feel like it does add some like dimension to the look, so that's what I like. And then I do want to just take like a clean blending brush and kind of just go over everything. Like I said earlier, don't worry too much about the edges because I'm going to go in and clean that up later. The next thing I want to do is I do want to take... I'm going to take an angled brush. This is the Sigma E65, and I want to take the black shade Noir in the palette and just go really close to my lash line to create like a liner effect, but not making it super visible. Alright, so as you can see, it just helped to, you know, intensify the lash line a little bit. And now I want to move on to the lower lash line. I'm going to take a pencil brush and just go in with that twig shade and dust that all over the lower lash line just like we did in the crease. Alright, and now taking a flat definer brush, which I'm using the MAC 212, I'm going to take that dystopian shade, which was that dark brown we used, in the outer corner and into the crease, and I'm pushing that really closely into the lower lash line. And one more time, taking the pencil brush and going in with twig and just blending all that together. Alright, and now let's move on to the inner corner shade. I'm just going to take another pencil type brush and I want to use the shade, really the only shade I think that's suitable is the shade Pearl. So I'm just going to put that right on the inner corner. And now for the brow bone, personally I think Pearl is too much of a shimmer for the brow bone, so what I like to do for this palette is just mix the shade Fresh and Pearl together to create like a subtle shimmer brow bone shade. I'm just going to take like a flat shader type brush and mix the two together. And now what I was telling you before about how we're going to clean up the edges is what I've been liking to do is take some translucent powder and just stick a little bit in the cap. And I'm taking this brush from the Jaclyn Hill brush collection, and it is the JH10, and I just dip it pretty generously into the translucent powder, tap it off, and I'm just going to go clean up the edges. about this method is that it's just a really nice way to clean up the edges and make them a little sharper without like using tape and making it super harsh. So I've been really enjoying that technique. I kind of stole it from Jacqueline. I don't think she does exactly what I just did, but she definitely does something similar. So that's what I've been doing lately. And then now I want to go in with my black eyeliner. This is the Marc Jacobs one. I'm also trying to get through this by Christmas. That it's in my Project Pan video. Lately I've actually been really enjoying my Urban Decay liner a little bit more, but I do still really like this, so I just want to get through it because I have two in my collection open at the same time. So this is the one I'm trying to at least get through. So I'm going to put this in my waterline and my tight line. Alright, so we've got our liner. Now we got to do some mascara. So I've been taking this combo lately, which I know you guys have seen in other of my videos, which is the L'Oreal Voluminous Primer and the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. This one honestly reminds me of the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, but obviously it's quite a bit cheaper since it's a drugstore brand. But I think my Better Than Sex one is drying up, so I've been using this one quite a bit lately, and I do like it. All that's left to do now is pick our lip color, and so far I'm just really happy with how this look has turned out. I've been really enjoying this palette, and it's funny because I wasn't even going to pick it up to begin with, but I've really been enjoying it. So I'm between two lip colors at the moment, either this red Kylie Cosmetics lip shade or Jeffree Star nude shade. I think since I went with like the gold shades on the lid, I think this is going to look really nicely with it, so I think I'm going to go in with this one. This is Baby Daddy, again Jeffree Star. Since this is like a, I don't know if I'm really liking how this is looking with the eye look, so I do want to add some of the Desi and Katie Dose of Colors gloss in the shade Over the Top. I'm just going to let this dry for a second and then see if that makes me feel better about it. In the meantime, let's go ahead and set my face. I'm just going to use the MAC Fix Plus to set. To do is move into my thoughts on this palette. I have played with this several times now, and I really have been enjoying it. I think that these shades are super pretty. I'm also going to insert swatches. Either I will have already done that, or I'm going to put it in after this, so you guys can see all the shades swatched. I've really just been enjoying it, and like I said a little earlier in the video, I wasn't even planning on buying this palette, but I went into Sephora one day, I swatched it, and I was like, I don't know, I did end up liking it. I do tend to like her palettes, so this one is no different. And I ended up getting like a 20% off code with the like friends and family sale. I ended up getting a code from someone on Instagram, so I got it for a little bit of a discount, which is even better, of course. I did wear this to a music festival, and it actually held up really well. I was totally expecting to come back at the end of the night and have it be just gone and smeared, and honestly, I mean, yes, it did look obviously not as perfect as it did when I first applied it, but it stayed on pretty well. And when I was taking off my makeup, I was pretty impressed by how much was still there and how the look still looked, you know, cohesive, and you could see what I was trying to do. It wasn't just a jumbled up mess. So overall, I do like this palette. I have not really played with this shade in a look, mainly because honestly I feel like it just doesn't really fit it for this palette. I mean, I know, you know, it seems like these brands, they always try to throw in a pop of color, but in this case I really don't see why it needed it. Like I said, it's probably a color I'm not going to reach for that much. Like I said, I already haven't reached for it just because I feel like it doesn't go with the palette. One of the other cons I have is that, which I've noticed this in a lot of palettes, at least for me personally recently, is that there's really not like a great brow bone highlight shade. You know, for this look I just mixed these two. but it's really not my perfect brow bone shade even mixed. So that's one con, but you know, that might not be a con for you depending on what you look for in a brow bone highlight shade. So, you know, it's all just personal preference, but overall I do think these shadows are very nice. This is definitely one of my favorites from her at this point. I'm going to be doing a whole video discussing all the Anastasia palettes that I own and my thoughts on some of the things I have found with these palettes. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. I'm going to be doing a whole video dedicated to these palettes and a whole discussion. So that'll be coming soon, probably after this video. So like I said, stay tuned for that. Alright, and I do believe that this might be limited edition. I think because it's her holiday release, it is limited edition. I could be wrong on that. I will leave it in the description box for sure, one way or the other. So if you are interested in this palette and it is limited edition, I recommend picking it up soon, just in case that it sells out. Which I noticed last year that her holiday palette, I got it well after the holidays. I didn't even realize it was limited edition until I was just browsing through and I saw it and I happened to see it was limited edition. So you might not have to worry too much about this disappearing right away, but I wouldn't wait around on it. If you are considering it, I do recommend it and I really do like it. So that is it for my thoughts on this palette. So that completes today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed the tutorial and hearing my final thoughts on the palette. And if you guys have the palette, I really would love to know what you think of it in the comments down below. If you could, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It would mean so much to me if you did both of those things. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.